Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to AARP Illinois' second virtual event featuring our true living legends. Today, our living legend is from Springfield, Illinois, Candice Trees, who also happens to be AARP Illinois' Executive Council member. I'm your host, Teresa Jones, Associate State Director of Advocacy and Outreach for AARP Illinois. We are thrilled to have Candice here with us today. Before we dive into our discussion, let's learn just a little bit more about our remarkable guest. Candice Trees is a lifelong resident of Springfield, Illinois. Throughout her life, she has worked for the betterment of her community. Candice was the Sangamon County Circuit Clerk for 6 years. During her term, Candice had initiated several technological advances within the circuit clerk's office. First, she began processing child support payments electronically, and in June of 1988, she was responsible for the installation of a new computer system for the traffic division. Bringing the clerk's office up to speed with modern technology helped improve the efficiency and the accessibility of the office. Previous to being the circuit clerk, Candice Trees served as the city clerk. Her work experience expands all levels of government, including municipal, county, state, and federal government. Additionally, she served as the executive director of the Illinois Minorities in Government, worked as a substitute teacher, and concluded her employment on the staff of the former Congressman Rodney Davis. She earned a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Illinois Springfield and holds a Master of Science in Organizational Behavior from the Benedictine University. She has served on many civic and community organizations throughout the city and county and is an active member of St. John's AME Church and a life member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, where she has served in many capacities, including president. She was married to her husband, John, for 48 years and is the proud mother of 3 adult daughters and 4 grandchildren. Her joy is connecting people to other people because she believes knowledge must be shared. Now, let's get into our discussion. Candice, welcome and thank you for joining us here today.
Hi, Teresa. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited about this and can't hardly wait to get started. So thank you very, very much. It's good to see you this morning.
It's good to see you as well. And thank you for coming and being a part of this. So let's get started, as you said. Can you share a bit more about your journey and what motivated you to become involved in the community and particularly with AARP Illinois?
Well, one of the things that happened, this training started as a young girl, being involved in Girl Scouts, being involved in our church. I'm one of 7 children, and my mom, we had things to do. So it was helping each other because my mother went to work when I was in middle school. And, so we had to do things. We had to have the house clean. We had to do this. We had to do that. And so just helping others was a part of our nature. And so that just started there. Girl Scouts taught us how to be good volunteers. Working in church taught us. We did stuff at school we had to be involved in. And so, I started working a real job when I was in high school because at the time I went to a split shift at Springfield Southeast High School. So I'd go to school at 7 o'clock in the morning, and then at 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock, I'd get on the bus and go downtown and work my job from 1 to 5 at the 5th Street Flower Shop. But just doing, my mother believed that we should give back to the community. So we had to do things. And, I think my shaping came from being one of 7, like I said, being in Girl Scouts, being active in church, and just doing things like that. So that helped shape me to be where I am now, working with AARP.
Okay. Well, reflecting on your experiences growing up in Springfield, how have you seen the community change and what challenges have you witnessed?
I think the community has grown better. I think we have people that are doing things, that try to do things and to make it more inclusive. I think that I've seen, I've seen the city go through and knock down properties and do things like that. I also know that some of our aldermen are working extremely hard to beautify the city. And I think that our city council is trying to do things to make Springfield a better place, a welcoming place. And then we're working with the livable communities of trying to do things. There's a lot of groups out there that want to make Springfield a welcoming place. And I think our livable communities with AARP is one of those as well. So I think we're conscious about what is out there and that we can do better to make it better.
So we're going to go back just a little bit. In my introduction about your career as the clerk of the circuit court, I would say, and I think many others would say, that history had been made. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
In 1986, I was approached. At the time, I was the city clerk for the city of Springfield, which was not an elected position. It was an appointed position, and I had served in that position since 1979. There was some different things that were going on, some movement that was going on. I believe that the then circuit clerk was Karen Hacera. She went on to go to the legislature. That position became open. There was also a pending lawsuit, the federal lawsuit about the change in the form of government. And I wanted to run for office. I was selected by the Republican Party to do that because I came back as being the most qualified based upon my experience as the city clerk. And I ran for circuit clerk. It was a short-term appointment. I was appointed in August. I had to immediately hit the ground running, in terms of getting out and going into the county and the city and doing all that you do when you want to hold office and meeting the voters and doing those types of things, and was everywhere. And in November of 1986, I won and was successful. I served the 2-year unexpired term of the former circuit clerk, And then I went on in 1988 and ran for a full 4-year term, and was one of the, got a lot of votes, and, was very, very successful in doing it. Now, let's fast forward. There has not been anyone else on the county level in Sangamon County that was someone that looks like me, in other words, an African American or a person of color, to do this position or any other countywide position. And I'm hoping that someday that will change and that there will be someone who can take one of the positions and become a countywide elected office holder. There's several jobs there and they could, run for that office, and it would be great. This is 2024. And I know that there are qualified African Americans and other people of color to hold one of those positions. And I think that would be great if that could happen and happen soon. We have one associate judge. We need more judges there, and it ought to represent what our community looks like.
So you're kind of leading into my next question. So looking ahead, and not so far ahead, but so how do you envision for the future of African Americans in Springfield, and what role do you see the community playing in shaping that future?
Well, there are opportunities out there, and we have to look for them. It's a two-way, so it goes from the top down, but the bottom up. And so, there has to be collaboration between organizations. We have to look for people. Sometimes you have to go grab people and say, hey, come on, I think you'd be great at this. Or, hey, come on, I want you to be a part of this. And we don't have to there doesn't have to be just one. There can be multiple of us that look like me in an organization. Sometimes folks feel comfortable. Well, I have someone, I got one. But I don't represent everybody. We're a diverse group of people with diverse opinions. And so more than one, it's okay to have more than one of us come, because we don't all necessarily see things the same way. And so it's good to have a diverse an opinion from people that look like me, and a good balance. And I think it's really, really, really important that we sit down and that we truly listen to one another. And when I say us, I'm talking about everybody in the community. We should sit down and we need to make sure that I hear what you say, you hear what your neighbor says, so forth and so on, and that we listen to one another and truly hear what we have to say. And I realize that everything's not based on black and white. There are some things that are just based on doing the right thing. One time I told my husband I wanted a black doctor, and he said to me, "Why don't you just want a good doctor?" So I had to.
I remember you telling me that story. So that kind of, you were saying not just because of color, which we all know, but I would think a lot of that would have to do as well as experience and education. So we know that education plays a crucial role in fostering equity. So how do you think our education system can be improved to provide equitable opportunities for the students, regardless of their background? And we're talking mainly just Springfield right now.
Well, my children, I'm a product of District 186. I'm a proud product of District 186. All seven of my brothers and sisters are products, six of my brothers and sisters are products of District 186. In my family, we have an assistant United States attorney. My daughter is an attorney. We have someone that has a degree in biology. So I think the District 186 does a fine job of educating our young people. The resources are there for them. I think that they look deep dive. There's other issues that go on. I sit on the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee for the district, and we've been meeting for the last year and a half, maybe possibly 2 years, and looking at how we can create a good balance of things so that everyone is receiving an equitable and equal education. One of the things, we have a lot of influx of immigrants that have come into our community, making sure that they have access to the resources that they need so that they can also become viable citizens of our community, because we have to have a good balance in our community because we serve a lot of people and a lot of people with diverse backgrounds. So it's really, really important. And, that the educational system provides that. And but we as citizens have a role to do in making sure that equity is also there as well. So, it's a balance that's really hard to find, but we can do it. We can get it done, and we can get it done well.
So in your journey as a civic and community leader, what advice would you have for individuals that are seeking success, particularly young African Americans I'm going to say in the whole state of Illinois? I know that you don't, but I know that you're not in the whole state, but it's Springfield. But what do you think?
I think there's opportunities out there, but then also those that are there have to help in bring others along. So if you are in a position that you can help bring someone, you can mentor a young person, you can, I love young people because they feed into me, and I hope that I'm pouring into them some kind of way. I like technology. I think that we live in a world where we're going to, technically, we need to be savvy. And so as a seasoned adult, I'm not going to say I'm old because I don't think I'm old, but a seasoned adult, we need to make sure that we are reaching behind. And when that young person gets equal to us, that we're behind there, pushing them, that we're there if they should stumble, that we're there if they fall down, and pick them up and help them and dust them off and shake that dirt off of them and help them keep going and moving, because every day is a new day. It's a wonderful gift that we're given if we are able to get up and go to where we need to go. And so I think it's really, really very important that we help each other along the way, because somebody helped me, and had someone not seen opportunity, had not seen, first of all, God saw great favor in me. And so when he saw that, then, there's other people that saw it. And, I just think we have to help one another. I just really, and my whole thing is that if I have something up here, if I know how you can get across the street and you don't have to walk in that puddle getting across the street, I can help show you how to get across the street. But if I don't tell you and show you, hey, look, there's a puddle right there. Be careful. Don't let that fool you. And I let you walk, then I haven't done what I'm supposed to do.
Oh, well, you hit on something a minute ago. You were talking about technology. So, what role do you see technology playing in advancing equity? And how do you think it can be leveraged for a positive change in Springfield?
Well, first of all, we have to make sure everybody has access to the technology that's there. It has to be. It's no longer what is it? A luxury? It's a necessity. It is a necessity. So those that control it, the companies that control it, the city will play a vital role, the county will play a vital role, and the state of Illinois is going to play a vital role to make sure that everyone has access to those things. Anymore you pick up something, if you don't do it digitally, you're going to be pretty much SOL. I'm a fabric shopper and I go to the fabric store and you get discounts if you got a smartphone. There were some older people there that they were 20 years older than me. That's why I can call them older people. They didn't have, the guy says, I got a flip phone. And I said, well, I got a smartphone. I can help you out. And, you just take it to the counter. I mean, they couldn't take my phone. I went with them. But, to get the extra discounts, that would have saved them 20, 30%. And, so technology is a necessity. It's not a luxury anymore, in my mind. Every time you pick up something, you have to do it electronically. You have access. I'm hoping that one day we can put our driver's license on. There's many states that have your driver's license. You can put it on your telephone. I can access my insurance card. I can access for driving my insurance card, my homeowner's information. Anything I want, I can get it out of my cell phone. And so, it's important that we have as many classes. People are going to have to not be afraid. You have to take your time to learn how to do it. But it is so extremely important because that is where we're moving. There's no longer, I watched it when I was the circuit clerk and the city clerk, that documents slowly were becoming digital. And now, you want something, if you want a court file or whatever, you can go online. You can go online and see who has what. You can go online and look at your property tax records. You can go online and even look at your health information. I go to the doctor. I'm still sitting there waiting on the doctor to come in. The nurse has already put all the vitals in and it's popping. It's ding. My phone is dinging. Mm-hmm. So, you want to make a doctor's appointment, you can make it on your phone. So it's important that we start training and making sure that everyone knows how to use a phone. And I think this generation coming along, the older generation is dying out. And so there are more of us that are becoming technologically savvy. And so I just think it's really, the more we can help people become technologically savvy, the better off we are.
So I heard you mention a couple of times. At one time you mentioned about your mother taking you to church and you being involved in church activities. And then you also made comment that you felt that you had been blessed to have the positions and to do the things that you have done and even now. So how do you navigate that intersection of faith and social justice in your community of work?
Well, I just feel that it's a privilege and an honor when God taps me in the morning and whispers in my ear or blows breath in me and say, girl, get up. You got another day to go make it right. And so I just feel it's an honor. And as I am becoming older, some of the things that my mom told me that I used to laugh at and go, girl, you just crazy. Well, now it really makes sense. Okay. They're making sense and I can understand them. And I find that I'm saying that to my grandson and my granddaughter. And, one of the things that I tell both of them, to whom much is given, much is required.
Yeah.
And you hear me say that often. I mean, it just is very, if you're given a lot, God expects a lot from you. But he don't put you out there by yourself. He puts people in your path. He puts things in your path. He just does all kinds of stuff. And, I tell my girls, I have 3 daughters, hey, just be quiet. Gotta move people out of your way. Gotta put people in your way. Gotta open doors. You thought that was just the wall there. That was a door. And he will open it and you can walk through it and you just didn't know. And you look back and say, well, how did I get here? Oh, wait, look at this. Isn't this, And he does. He gives us exceedingly abundant of all kinds of things. I mean, just, I know this sounds crazy, but even you'll see people pushing a cart down the street that has a cart and they've got a lot of stuff. They don't have what I have and I don't have what they have, but he gives us what we need and he gives us more than what we need. And we just have to know how to do it.
Yes. So as one who's considered a community leader, how do you approach building effective and inclusive leaderships within our organizations? Not necessarily just AARP, but other organizations that I know that you work with.
We have to not be afraid to talk to people. We have to go look at where people are. We have to access, sometimes people are afraid and sometimes we forget how we got where we are. Because all of us didn't start off on top. Sometimes we had to work where we had to go. But sometimes we get up there and we forget I had to go, this is the steps that I had to go to get to where I am. And so, but I just think that we have to have dialogue with one another. Dialogue is so important. And I have to hear what you're saying. Don't anticipate what you think I'm going to say. Listen to what I am saying. Hear what I am saying. And we're there's still a lot of we're still afraid of each other in a lot of ways, and we can't be afraid because my journey has been. Sometimes we listen, we'll hear we've had similar journeys. They may not have been exactly alike, but we've had a journey. You may have lost a job. I lost a job. May not have been the same kind of way we lost a job, but I lost a job. I had to figure out how I was gonna pay that grocery bill or pay that light bill or do something. And may have had someone break into your house or something. You may have had someone. We just got to hear what people are saying. And we don't often listen because we're busy moving on to the next, to the person behind me or to the issue behind me. We're not dealing with the issue that lays in front of us. And so, I think that's important.
I think it is too. And it just reminds me of something that my pastor's wife says all the time. My pastor as well, but they say you have to meet people where they are.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times I think we expect people to meet us where we are. Right. So, yes. So leading into this next question, in your experience, so how do you navigate those challenges and resistance when advocating for change? And what advice do you have for those that are facing similar obstacles?
I have to step back sometimes and I have to look around, assess the situation. And sometimes things aren't always what they look like. I think I said that correctly. Sometimes things look one way and they are actually another way. Sometimes you got to know the backstory. You got the front story, but you don't. There's always a backstory. There's always something behind that story because the results are the way they are there. And then sometimes we miss things. So, I just think it's the dialogue, talking, getting involved, knowing, researching, understand what you're dealing with, seeing the big picture, and then also seeing that middle picture and that small picture. Because sometimes, I like The Godfather. And every time I watch The Godfather, I see something different in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and there's a book called The Warmth of Other Suns, and I like to read it. And it's about the great migration from the South to the North. And, just knowing about so much happened in, even when I was a little girl, born in the 50s, and moving through all the things that I've moved through, the 7 decades that I've moved through, just different. There's just a lot of things that have gone on and a lot of things that are still going on. But, that has shaped who we are. And we can't deny our past, because that our past shapes who we are for the future. And we can't eliminate it. We can't wipe it out. It's there. It's real. I think Robert De Niro had in the latest magazine of AARP does a great interview, and he talks about, our past being important, and we can't deny it. We can't deny it. We have to understand it, because that is how we shape to make the world better, to do what we need to do. And we're a big melting pot, the United States is, and we have to make sure that we're making things better for everybody, not just for a small segment of people, but for everybody.
Well, we just have a few more minutes here. Man, this half hour went by very quickly.
Yeah, I did.
So I have one more question for you. I really have more than one, but I'm just going to ask you this one. And if you can wrap that up in a couple of minutes. And given our current social and political climate, what do you believe are the most pressing issues that need urgent attention in Springfield and beyond?
We need to have equitable housing. I think housing is extremely important for everybody. We need to have affordable housing. We need to have streets where people can walk down sidewalks. We need to have good curbs and gutter streets. We need, I just think the housing is really, really very, very, very important. Good quality housing that people can live in, beautiful neighborhoods. I think there might need to be a contest of helping people, plant nice grass seeds, making sure people aren't parking in the front yard and, leaving ruts and that type of stuff. It's crazy. They didn't do that when I was growing up. And now people, well, I guess there was only one car, like there was one TV. Now there's 10 cars and 47 TVs in people's homes. But I just think that, making sure that the yard looks nice, coming into Springfield, you want it to be beautiful, where there's flowers where there's flowers planted and growing. And, when the flowers die, that there's beautiful ornamental grass or something, but that it's beautiful, that we pick up the trash and that we help people pick up the trash and teach them how to do that. And, do all that. And if we need to have homeowners classes, or how to live in a home, even if you don't own it, and maintain it, to take care of it and cut the grass and pick up the trash and, do what all needs to be done. I think those are important things. Having a livable community that's safe, where people can access groceries, where people can access just even retail shops. I think we just need to have that in the city of Springfield. I think that's really, really important. I shouldn't have to drive all the way on the other side of town to be able to find decent clothing, nice retail shops, that type of stuff. They ought to be able to be within walking distance. They, nice little quaint restaurants, nice little things like that. So I hope I didn't talk too long on that.
No, you did fine. And equitable health care. I know we had talked about that. So
that's really important. Making sure people, having clinics where people can get to them. Right. They're accessible, accessible. So we have some pretty good health facilities in Springfield, but, we probably could have maybe a few more clinics some places.
So we wrapped this conversation up pretty well, I think. And I also believe that you gave a call of action that you wanted to leave our audience with regarding the future of Springfield. And especially, well, not necessarily especially, but particularly for African Americans. And I appreciate that. So, Candice, in our closing, I want to say thank you. Thank you for sharing your insights and your experiences. We appreciate your time and the valuable contributions that you continue to make to the Springfield community in Illinois. And I have to add, in AARP. So, and to our audience, we thank you for joining us for this enlightening conversation. Remember, the power to create positive change lies within each of us. Let's continue the dialogue and work together for a more equitable and just future. So please join us next month for our continuing on Black History series on Living Black Legends. So once again, I'm Teresa Jones, and I thank you all for joining AARP Illinois today. We look forward to continuing our mission of supporting seniors, caregivers, and the entire aging community in Illinois. If you would like more information on AARP's upcoming virtual events, please visit aarp.org/Illinois. That's aarp.org/Illinois. So everyone, you have a wonderful day, and this concludes our virtual